Hello everyone, myself Shikha. Time to move on to our next part of speech, verbs. What are verbs? Verbs are doing words. Verbs can express physical action like play, dive, mental actions like think, guess, or state of being, exist, and am. So, verbs are the words that show the action, whatever is done by the subject in a sentence. Let's understand verbs segregating all type of actions. Verbs can express physical actions. Here are some sentences with verbs that expresses physical actions. For example, she sails packs. In this example, the word sails is a verb. It expresses the physical activity to sail. Next is the doctor wrote the prescription. In this example, the word wrote is a verb. It expresses the physical activity to write. And the next example is Alison bought a ticket. The word bought is a verb. It expresses the physical activity to buy. So all these examples are having physical actions, and that physical actions are shown by types of verbs. Verbs can express mental actions. While many verbs express physical actions like to jump, to dance, to sing, verbs can also express mental actions. For example, she considers the job done. The verb considers is a verb. It expresses the mental activity to consider. Next is Peter guessed the right number. The word guessed is a verb here and it expresses the mental activity to guess. Next is I thought the same thing. The word thought is a verb. It expresses the mental activity to think. So whatever is going inside your mind, that also comes out in the form of different type of verbs. Next is verbs can express a state of being. A small but extremely important group of verbs do not express any activity at all. The most important verb in this group is the verb to be. So, some verb tells you the position, the existence of something. Here is the verb to be in different tenses. So, here is a table given about verb to be according to their subject and their tenses. Subject is I, and for I, the verb in past, present, and future tense will be was, am, and will be. Next subject is you, and the verb to be is were, are, and will be. Next is he, she, or it, and the verbs to be will be was, is, will be. For subject we, the verb to be is were, are, will be. For you, were, are, will be, and for they, were, are, will be. Types of verb in English grammar. Here we are having 7 types of verb. Number 1, finite verb indicative of number singular or plural. Next is non-finite verbs used as nouns, adverbs and adjectives. Action verb talks about what the subject is doing in the sentence. Then number 4, helping verb helps the main verb in a sentence by extending the meaning of the verb. Number 5, linking verb connect the subject to a noun or adjective. Number 6, regular verbs that forms their past participle with d or ed, and irregular verbs that changes their form completely. First type is finite verbs. Finite verbs are such kind of verbs that have a definite relation with the subject or noun. Usually these verbs are the main verb of a clause or sentence and can be changed according to the noun. They are used only in the present and past tense. They can be indicative of number as singular or plural. So we can say finite verbs are used in present or past tense according to the subject, whatever is coming in the sentence, and according to the number of the subject, that whether the subject is singular or plural. Let's see some example of finite verbs. He attends his class regularly. Change of person. Here person is singular. That's why the verb has come according to the singular subject. Next is they attend the class regularly. Change of person. Again the person is plural. So verb has come according to the plural subject. Next is they attended the class regularly. Here is the change of tense, means the sentence is of past tense. That's why we have used the word according to the tense. Next type is non-finite verbs. Such types of verbs cannot be the main verb of a clause or sentence as they do not talk about the action that is being performed by the subject or noun, and they do not indicate any tense, mood or gender. So here non-finite verb is not included in the category of main verb, means they are not helping to complete the sentence, whereas finite verb is a kind of main verb. But non-finite verbs never indicates any tense, mood or gender in the sentence. We can also use these verbs as nouns, adverbs and adjectives. These types of verbs are also used to form non-finite clauses, which are simply dependent clause that use non-finite verbs. Means non-finite verbs can be used in the form of noun, adverb and adjective, but they cannot be a part of the main verb. Whatever the sentence we are making through the non-finite verb, they always be a dependent clause. Examples of non-finite verbs. He invited his friend to like his post on Facebook. Next is they invited their friends to like their post on Facebook. In the above sentences, the verb to like is not affected by the change in tense and number, so it is a non-finite form of verb. See more example of non-finite verb. He loves camping in the woods. Here the non-finite verb is camping and it is used as a noun. These kinds of non-finite verbs are called gerunds. So gerunds are basically noun that are formed by adding ing in the verb, but that word is not acting as a verb in the sentence. That verb is acting as a noun in the sentence and it is called gerunds. Next is I need to go to sleep. Here the non-finite verb phrase is to sleep. It is acting as a noun. Non-finite verbs that use to before they are called infinitive. So whatever the verbs are having to before them, they are called infinitives. Next example is the sleeping dog caused a delay. Here the non-finite verbs has or ing form and is acting as an adjective. The non-finite verbs that have ing or ed as suffixes and cause the verb to become an adjective are called participles. So when we place ing as a suffix or ed as a suffix in any verb, this verb become a participle. So you have seen in first and second example, the non-finite verbs is coming in the form of noun, and in the third example, non-finite verb comes in the form of adjective that is called participle. It's time to make the difference between finite and non-finite verbs. First see finite verbs. Finite verbs act as a verb. Example, they got home very late last night. Here got is a verb in finite form. Next is finite verbs act as the main verb of a clause. Here example, I live in Germany. Live is working as a main verb. Next is finite verb indicate person, number and tense. For example, she was waiting in the room before he came in. Here single verb is used with the single person and the tense is past. Next is finite verb used in present tense and past tense. Example, you promised me the last ticket. Here finite verb promised is used in past tense. Then the last one is finite verbs appear in dependent and independent clauses. So example is Jean said that he enjoyed painting. Here Jean said that is an independent clause and he enjoyed painting is an independent clause, and the verb said and enjoyed has come in the form of finite verbs. Now non-finite verbs do not act as a verb. For example, sailing is my favorite sport. Here sailing is acting as a noun. Non-finite verbs act as nouns, adjectives and adverbs. Example, the sleeping cat is brown. Here sleeping is a non-finite verb acting as an adjective. Next is non-finite verbs do not indicate person, number and tense. Example, she tiptoed round the house so as not to wake anyone. To wake is the non-finite verb and that is not indicating any person, any number or any tense. Next is non-finite verbs are infinitives, gerund and participles. Example, I struggle to understand. To understand is an infinitive, that is a kind of non-finite verb. And the last one, non-finite verbs appear in infinitival, participle and gerund participle clause. Example, kids like to play on computer. To play is an infinitive, that is a type of non-finite verb. Next is action verbs. An action verb is also known as the main verb, principal verb and lexical verbs. All these types of verbs talk about what the subject is doing in a sentence. Action verbs are one of the most easily identifiable types of verbs in English grammar. To identify or recognize these verbs, we simply have to look for the words in the sentence that answers the question in a sentence, what is the subject doing? So basically action verbs functions in a sentence to tell that what the subject of the sentence is doing. See the example, Rose is painting the kitchen wall. So if we put the question what is Rose doing, then simply we give the answers painting. Means painting is the action verb, the action that is done by the subject in a sentence. There are two types of action verbs in English grammar, transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Let's see the difference between transitive and intransitive verbs one by one in detail. Transitive verb. Transitive verbs are such kind of verbs in which action verbs have a definite object on which or for which the action is being performed. That means the action has a definite recipient or object. To identify them, you can ask the question, what is the object being affected by the verb? So in transitive verb, the action verb that is coming in the sentence that must have an object, means the object of the sentence is directly related with the verb that is coming in the form of action in that sentence. And to identify transitive verb, you can put the question, what is the object doing and how the object is related with the verb of the sentence. See the example of transitive verb. Rose is painting the kitchen walls. Now here you can put the question, what is Rose painting? The kitchen wall. Means the kitchen wall is the object of the verb painting that is coming in the sentence. Thus we see that there is a specific object on which the action is done. Intransitive verb. These verbs also are shown in action, but here there is no specific object on which the action is being done. To recognize these verbs, we ask the question, what is the object being affected by the verb? If there is no answer present in the sentence, we can say the verb in the sentence is an intransitive verb. So intransitive verb comes without an object. If you find no answer of the same question that you put in transitive verb, then we can say that this is an example of intransitive verb. See the example, Rose is painting right now. The same example. Now we put the question, what is Rose painting? Now there is no answer. So this means that in the sentence, painting is an intransitive verb. An intransitive verb telling us about the action of the subject, but there is no specific object or the action. So this is very easy to find the difference between transitive and intransitive verb by putting the same question. If you are getting the answer in the form of an object, then it will be an transitive verb, and if you find no answer of the same question, then it will be an intransitive verb. Next type of verb is helping or auxiliaries verbs. An auxiliary, also called helping auxiliaries or verbal auxiliary verb. Helping verbs are verbs that, as their name suggests, help the main verb in a sentence by extending the meaning of the verb. These types of verb assist the main verb, showing time and meaning. So helping verb helps the main verb in a sentence to complete the meaning. Two types of helping verbs are there in English grammar: primary auxiliaries verb and modal auxiliaries verb. Primary auxiliaries verb. These verbs function both as helping and main verbs, be, do or have. So primary auxiliaries verb work in a sentence as main verbs as well as helping verbs. See the example, he is the boss here. She has her own car. Now in both of the sentence, primary auxiliaries verb is and has, they both are working as main verb. Now see the primary auxiliary verb be, and it is having the other verbs am, is, are, was, were, been. Do is having does and did, and have extended in the verbs has and had. So we can say be do and have are the root verb as they are using auxiliaries in the sentence. Modal auxiliaries verb. These verbs are used to change the tone and mood of the main verb, like can, could, may, might, shall, will, would, should, must, and ought to are called modal auxiliaries verb. So basic function of modal auxiliaries verb is to change the mood of the sentence. Let's see some example. She can run fast. You should study English. Now here in these sentences, the mood of both the sentences is different. Like she can run fast. Now this is showing the ability of that girl that she can run fast, and in next sentence you should study means this is a type of advice that is being given to that person. Let's see through some examples that how modal verbs are used in a sentence. First is can. It is showing ability and request. Examples are Julie can swim. Next is can I come with you. Now first example is showing the ability of Julie and next example is showing a request. And the past modal verb of can is could, that is again showing past ability, suggestion and future possibility. See the example, could I use your phone please? Now this is a type of permission. Then Julie could swim when she was young. It is showing a past ability of Julie. Next modal verb is may, that is showing the permission for future possibility. Example is may I borrow your pen? He may come to a place. Now both the sentences are showing the future possibility through the modal verb may. The past modal verb of may is might, that presents present or future possibility. Example is we might win the trophy but I doubt. So there is a possibility of winning the match showing through the modal verb might. Next modal verb is must, showing necessity or obligation. Example is you must have an identity proof to enter in the room. So there is a type of obligation showing through must. Next is ought to, what's right and correct. And the example is you ought to listen carefully. Now it is a type of advice, means you ought to listen carefully. Next is shall. Shall is offer or suggestion showing through the example shall I help you? Shall I call her? Now these are showing the type of suggestion through the modal verb shall. Next is should, that is the past form of shall, advise or uncertain prediction. Examples are you should check it again and he should give her a call. Now both the sentences are showing advice through the modal verb should. Next is will, willingness, certain prediction or promise is showed by this modal verb. Examples are I will go to New York, it will rain today. So it is showing a type of prediction and promise through modal verb will. And the past form of will is would, that is showing the request, invitation or making arrangement. See the examples, would you pass the pizza and would you prefer tea or coffee? So in first sentence it is a type of request and in second sentence it is a type of invitation or suggestion. Next type is linking or copular verb. Linking or copular verbs are unlike other verbs as they do not tell anything about the subject themselves. Instead, they connect the subject to a noun or adjective that helps in describing or providing additional information about the subject. So, linking verb connects the subject to a noun or adjective in a sentence and provide additional information about that particular subject. It is important to remember that the difference between a helping verb and a linking verb is that the linking verb is used to connect the subject with something that describes it, whereas the helping verb is used together with an additional main verb to express the action. So, linking verb link the subject with the noun or adjective in a sentence, whereas helping verbs helps to complete the meaning of the sentence adding with the main verb. So, state of being verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, being and been. Some linking verbs are taste, feel, smell, sound, look, appear, become, seem, grow, remain and stay. And some helping verbs are have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, will, should, would, may, might, must, can and could. Now see the difference between linking verbs and helping verb. First example, I am tall. Here I is a subject and tall is an adjective, and am is working as a linking verb and connecting subject to the adjective. Next is I am running. Here I is a subject and running is the main verb, and am as a helping verb helps to complete the meaning of the sentence. So in the above examples, the same word can be used as a linking verb as well as a helping verb. I'm making the linking and helping verb more clear to you by making the difference between them through some examples. First, see the linking verb. If the verb is linking, you see no action word after is, am, was and were. The word should connect the subject to the rest of the sentence. In helping verb, if the verb is helping, you should see a verb after is, am, was, were, and the verb should also ends with ing. Now see the example of linking and helping verb. First example, I am a girl. Here am is a linking verb. Next is she is a small but sweet. Here is a linking verb. We are brother and sister. Are is a linking verb here. He was taller than his dad. Was is acting as a linking verb in this sentence. And the last example of linking verb is we were hungry before dinner. Here were is acting as a linking verb. Now see the example of helping verb. First example, I am swimming at the pool. Now am is a helping verb for the main verb swimming. Next is he is jogging around the park. Now is acting as a helping verb for the main verb jogging in this sentence. Next example, Tim and Jim are playing ball. Now here helping verb is are with the main verb playing. Next is she was talking on the phone. Here helping verb is was and joined with the main verb talking. Now last example, we were designing the house. Here were is a helping verb that helps to complete the meaning of the sentence with the main verb designing. Let's understand the linking verbs and helping verbs in a better way. Linking verbs are the main verbs in a sentence, whereas helping verbs are not the main verbs in a sentence. Linking verbs are followed by the subject complements, and helping verbs are often followed by the principal verb. Linking verbs link the subject and the subject complement, whereas helping verbs add extra information about the action. Linking verbs are used to describe or identify the subject, whereas helping verbs are used to express an action or a state of being. Next type is regular or weak verb. Those verbs that form their past participle with D or ED as suffixes are regular verbs. These verbs do not undergo substantial changes while changing forms between tenses. These verbs are also called weak verbs. So regular verbs do not change its forms between the tenses and keeping its base form unchanged, and by just adding D or ED as suffixes, they converted in its past and past participles. Now see some regular verb examples. First is the present form, then past form, and then its past participle. First verb is decay, then past form is decayed, and its past participle is decayed. So you can see without changing its substantial form, means without changing its spelling, just by adding ed, it converted in past and past participles. More verbs are amuse, amused and amused. Next is command, commanded and commanded. Explain, explained, explained. Impress, impressed and impressed. Came to last type, irregular or strong verb. Irregular verbs are the verbs that change their form completely when changing from base form to past participle and perfect participle. Most of the time they form their past times by a change in the main vowel of the present tense and without the addition of any ending. We cannot tell or predict what form irregular or strong verb is going to take in the changed tense. One has to memorize the changes in the verb forms. So unlike the regular verb, irregular verb changes its form completely when converted to past tense or past participle. So you have to memorize different irregular verbs in its past tense and its past participle forms. Here are some examples of irregular verbs in its present, past and past participle forms. First is run, rain, run. So here you can see the irregular verb run changes its form completely when converted to past tense and past participle form. Now see other irregular verbs: awake, awoke, awoken, choose, chose, chosen, forgive, forgave, forgiven, bring, brought, brought. So like this, each and every type of irregular words are taking different past tense or past participle form. Here we have completed with the types of verb. Now let's see the other parts of the verb in grammar. Conjugation of verbs. Now what is conjugation of verbs? A verb will change its form a little depending on the subject. Means the verb changes its form according to the subject of the sentence. For example, I write, he writes. Now in first example, the subject is plural and the verb has come according to its plural subject. Next sentence is having singular form of its subject and the verb is also having its singular form according to the subject. Now let's take one example in its different form. The jackal laughs, the jackals laugh. Now first example is having a singular subject and taking the singular form of its verb, and the second example is having plural subject and the verb changes its form according to the plural subject. So when verbs change in this way, this is known as conjugation. A verb conjugates according to the subject. The subject of the verb can be in one of 6 forms. Here we are having verb conjugation chart in its singular and plural form. In its singular form, first person I take am, second person you take are, and third person he, she or it takes is. Now in plural form, first person we take are, you take are, and third person they take are as their verb. According to this verb conjugation chart, the first 3 are the singular forms known as first person singular, second person singular and third person singular. The second 3 are the plural forms known as the first person plural, second person plural and third person plural. Now we have taken the same example. The jackal laughs, the jackals laugh. All subjects fit into one of these categories. Like in this example, jackal is like he as third person singular and jackals is like they as third person plural. Been. Though participles are related with verbs, I am giving you some information regarding them. Participles are formed from verbs. There are 2 types, present participles and past participles. Present participles end in ing and past participles have various endings like ed, en. Below is a table showing some participles. Here we are having a table with the verb in its present and past participle. First verb is to sing. Its present participle will be singing and past participle will be sung. Next verb is to drive and it will take the participle as driving and driven. To go will take going and gone. Next is to rise. It will take the participle as rising and risen. Next verb is to watch. It will take the participle as watching and watched. And the last one is to be. It will take the participle as being and been. Participles are classified as adjectives. Below are some examples of participles being used as adjectives. First example, our business is badly affected by the soaring price of wool. The word soaring is a present participle. Here it is being used as an adjective to describe price. In previous slide, we have discussed that present participle is made by adding ing in the verb. Since price is a noun followed by soaring, so soaring will be an adjective for the noun price. Next example, he is a forgotten hero. The word forgotten is a past participle. Here it is being used as an adjective to describe hero. So, noun hero is followed by the adjective forgotten as in the form of past participle. So, we have completed 3 parts of a speech: noun, pronoun and verbs. That's it for now. We'll meet again.